Welcome to a special deep dive investigation. What you are about to see is a story so twisted and filled with tragedy that it seems almost unbelievable. But through months of investigation, interviews with confidential sources, and leaked documents, we have put together a narrative that shows the shocking truth about Rob War and Sophie Sierra. Even after their divorce, Rob War and Sophie Sierra secretly continued seeing each other in hotels, showing just how complicated and secret their relationship really was. Eventually, Sophie became pregnant with Rob's child. But that was only the beginning. Soon, shocking revelations appeared. According to sources, 90 Day Fiancé star Rob War became trapped in nearly $200,000 of debt through online gambling. When he could not pay, he was sued and later arrested. With this truth exposed, the situation became even more tragic. Let's go back to the beginning. Sophie Sierra was a 23-year-old from a well-to-do family in London. Rob War, 32, lived in California. They met online and quickly developed a connection. After a fast romance, Sophie applied for a K-1 visa to come to the United States. Almost immediately, problems began. Rob's living conditions were not what he had told Sophie. Instead of being successful, he lived in a small and cluttered space. The lies started small but grew larger. Sophie's trust began to fade. Arguments over money, secrecy, and Rob's controlling behavior soon defined their relationship on the show. The biggest problem was always truth. Sophie felt Rob could not be honest with her, and Rob seemed unable to be truthful. By the end of their season and the tell-all, it was clear their relationship was over. Soon after the show aired, both confirmed on social media that they had split. Fans were relieved for Sophie, believing it was finally over. But our investigation shows that what the public thought was the end was really only the beginning of something darker and more troubling. The official story was a clean break, but sources close to both said the emotional connection was harder to end. In the months after their breakup, Rob and Sophie lived separate lives publicly. Sophie was seen in London, rebuilding her life, while Rob stayed in Los Angeles, posting mysterious updates online. But privately, a very different story was happening. They still called each other late at night, leaned on each other emotionally, and even met in secret. According to our sources, Sophie flew back to the U.S. at least 4 times between December 2023 and March 2024. These trips were not shared on social media. They were hidden. It was like they were addicted to the drama. They would swear it was over, then Rob would call her crying, saying he was lost without her. She would feel guilty, or maybe she missed the chaos, and she would book another flight. They met in mid-level hotels near LAX, places where they would not be recognized. It was not about getting back together. It was about closure, or maybe just habit. We obtained receipts from one such hotel, the Skyway Inn, on February 14th, 2024, Valentine's Day. The room was booked under a fake name, but the credit card used was linked to one of Rob's associates. Rob did not want anyone to know. He wanted to look like a single, successful man online. Sophie, on the other hand, was vulnerable. She had been stuck in that toxic cycle so long it felt normal. These meetings were emotional and messy. They would fight, cry, and reconnect. This continued for months, a destructive pattern between two people who knew they were bad for each other but could not let go. During one of these secret meetings in early April, everything changed. In mid-May, Sophie suddenly stopped posting on social media. Her usually active Instagram went silent. Friends in London noticed her sudden disappearance. Rumors began to spread, but nothing was confirmed until we received a tip from a medical source in the UK. According to an informant at a private London clinic, Sophie had taken a pregnancy test in late May. The result was positive. The timeline matched her last known visit to Los Angeles. Sophie was terrified and alone. She knew Rob was the father. She was extremely stressed and worried about the pregnancy. She was not sure what to do. In early June, she gathered the courage to call Rob. She needed support and wanted to figure out her next steps. But Rob panicked. For Rob, this was his worst nightmare. A baby meant a permanent tie to a situation he was trying to hide. At first, he begged her not to go public. Then he pushed her not to keep the baby. He accused her of trying to trap him. The conversation was brutal. Sophie felt abandoned once again. Heartbroken, Sophie stopped answering his calls. Friends say she withdrew from everyone, devastated by his reaction and uncertain of her options. She felt the father of her child had once again shown his cruel side. But what Sophie didn't know was that Rob's panic came from more than just not wanting a baby. He was hiding something far worse. To understand his fear, we must go back several months. On television, Rob appeared as a man struggling to get by. But privately, he had a dangerous addiction. According to legal records and sources with direct knowledge, Rob was heavily involved in online sports betting and high-stakes poker. It started small as a way to escape his failing relationship and financial problems, but it quickly grew out of control. Rob always wanted a quick fix, a shortcut to success. Gambling became his obsession. He believed one big win would solve everything. He sometimes won a few $100s and felt unstoppable, but then he would lose thousands the next day. The cycle kept going. He was hiding this from everyone. Sources gave us screenshots of Rob's gambling accounts on offshore platforms. These sites are known for operating in legal gray areas and for their aggressive debt collection. The numbers were shocking. By April 2024, Rob owed a total of $197,658 to 3 separate gambling syndicates. The debt was growing daily with interest. This explains his panic. He was already drowning in debt, with no steady income and no way out. He could not afford for his problems to become public. Sophie's pregnancy was another secret he could not risk, another piece of truth he wanted to bury. For Sophie, it was yet another betrayal in a relationship filled with lies, control, and heartbreak. For Rob, it was the collapse of everything he had tried to hide. What began as a reality TV love story had turned into a nightmare of secrecy, addiction, and tragedy. The truth of this story lies in the hidden world of online credit. Legal experts explain that many gambling platforms are based overseas, beyond the reach of U.S. banking laws. They often give users lines of credit with little to no checks. Their business thrives on addiction. They let users dig themselves into massive debt, and then use intimidation, threats, and legal pressure to collect. The interest rates are like loan sharks. Sources say Rob War was receiving threatening emails and phone calls. Collectors were after him constantly. The calm, confident image he tried to show online was collapsing under the weight of nearly $200,000 in debt. Then came the lawsuits. In late May, at the same time Sophie was discovering she was pregnant, a lawsuit was filed in California civil court against Robert War. It was the first official move by the gambling syndicate to recover their money. Rob was served with legal papers, but he didn't respond. Legal experts say ignoring a lawsuit is one of the worst mistakes a person can make. When you fail to answer, the court usually gives a default judgment to the plaintiff, meaning they win automatically. With that judgment, the court can enforce payment, garnish wages, place liens on property, and if the defendant continues to ignore orders, even issue a warrant for arrest. That is exactly what happened to Rob. The court granted a default judgment against him for the full amount plus costs and interest, pushing his debt past $200,000. He was ordered to attend a debtor's examination, a hearing where he would have to reveal his financial situation under oath. Rob refused to appear. He was in denial, convinced that if he ignored it, the problem would disappear. He hid in his apartment, paranoid and jumpy at every knock on the door. He knew he had no real assets, no job, and nothing to declare. Admitting this in court would mean officially confirming his financial ruin. He couldn't face it. The judge, frustrated by Rob's refusal to comply, issued a bench warrant for his arrest. On the morning of June 18, 2024, the situation reached its breaking point. Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies arrived at Rob's last known address. They knocked. After a short pause, the door opened, and Rob War was arrested on contempt of court charges for failing to appear at the debtor's examination. He was taken to county jail to await a hearing. The irony was painful. Rob was so afraid of being exposed as broke and a failure that he ended up doing the one thing that guaranteed his humiliation would be broadcast everywhere. He got himself arrested for being broke. Within hours, gossip sites published the story. His mugshot, the charges, and the staggering debt were suddenly everywhere. The world saw the truth Rob had worked so hard to hide. In London, a pregnant Sophie Sierra saw the news on her phone. Sources close to her said her reaction was complete devastation, mixed with horrifying clarity. She collapsed in shock. It wasn't just learning about the arrest, it was seeing the number $200,000. Every fight about money, every excuse, every secret suddenly made sense. His panic about the baby wasn't only about not wanting to be tied to her. It was because he was drowning financially, about to drag everyone down with him. Sophie felt sick and betrayed in ways she never imagined possible. Rob was released on bail after a few days, but his life had already crumbled. Social media turned against him. Fans left angry comments. Critics mocked him. His chances for future reality TV appearances or sponsorships were gone. His name was tied to debt and arrest. He faced a future defined by this failure. But the greater tragedy belonged to Sophie. She now faced motherhood alone, forever tied to a man who represented the worst time of her life. The father of her child was now a national headline for financial ruin and fraud. The secret meetings, the moments of false closure, the times she thought they were reconnecting. All of it had happened while he was hiding a financial bomb that would eventually explode. Sophie resolved to raise her child on her own. She wanted nothing more to do with Rob. She feared his debt, lies, and chaos might one day touch her child's life. She longed for peace, though it seemed impossible when the person she created a life with had become a walking disaster. This story was no longer a reality TV plot. It became a human tragedy about toxic love, addiction, and shame. Rob's desperate chase for quick fixes, whether through gambling or unstable relationships, destroyed everything. He lost his freedom, his reputation, and even the chance to know his own child. Sophie, a young woman who simply followed her heart, now bore the lifelong consequences of his lies. She was left to rebuild her life for the sake of her baby from the wreckage of a relationship built on dishonesty from the start. It is a heartbreaking reminder that the most dramatic stories often unfold after the cameras stop rolling. The shocking turn of events left fans questioning what would happen next. Should Sophie allow Rob to be part of their child's life? Could Rob ever recover from this collapse? Viewers debated online, eager for updates on the messy saga. More drama followed. Rob wore shocked fans again with new revelations. He didn't let Sophie attend the Hunt for Love Tell-All special. Insiders revealed that he had a huge tantrum behind the scenes to block her appearance. Rob himself admitted that he hooked up with Sophie after the show ended, but said he had no plans to reunite with her. In another heartbreaking update, Rob also revealed that he had recently lost a close family member, which led fans to send condolences despite his controversies. Meanwhile, Sophie surprised fans by posting a new gym selfie. She looked stunning, drawing praise from followers who called her gorgeous and strong. The contrast between their lives could not have been clearer. Sophie was focusing on herself and moving forward, while Rob was sinking deeper into scandal. Insiders explained more about the tell-all drama. Many viewers had expected Sophie to appear in the reunion, especially after TLC hinted that her ex might make a surprise cameo. Her absence shocked fans. Later, it was revealed that Sophie's decision not to attend was largely due to Rob. Reports said he flat out refused to allow her to be part of the episode. Why would he block her? Some suggested it was control. Others thought he feared what she might say. Whatever the reason, Sophie stayed silent, letting her actions speak louder than words. As the dust settled, Rob tried to remake his image. He wanted to show himself as a good guy after the backlash from his harsh comments about Sophie. He seemed to enjoy the chance to appear in a better light. But to many it was too late. His reputation had been ruined, his secrets exposed. Sophie, meanwhile, chose to move on, focusing on her health and her future as a mother. The story of Rob and Sophie is one of love turned toxic, of lies collapsing under their own weight, and of two lives that will forever be connected through tragedy. Sophie Sierra and Rob War broke up long ago, but legally they are still tied together. After appearing on The Last Resort, the cast of 90 Day Fiancé reunited. Rob and Sophie, however, could not move past their jealousy and problems. They eventually filed for divorce. Both tried to move forward in different ways. Rob joined the dating show Hunt for Love to meet someone new. But after failing to connect with Gova, he left the program single. Fans were later shocked when Rob admitted he had hooked up with Sophie several times after the show ended. His confession raised questions about whether they had truly moved on, or if their bond was too tangled to ever end cleanly. Rob also spoke about Sophie's current relationship. He claimed she was dating Pedro Jimeno, known from another TLC show. Rob said Sophie could be vengeful and jealous, even contacting him multiple times while they were at the resort. Their story, filled with fights, jealousy, and betrayals, has become one of the most dramatic in the franchise. During the last resort tell-all, Sophie accused Rob of cheating, even claiming he had been involved with men and had offered adult services online. Rob, in turn, seemed uncomfortable with Sophie's presence and behavior during the reunion. Speculation about Sophie and Pedro began to circulate, and Sophie responded directly. She took to TikTok to call out her ex for talking about her personal life at the reunion. She criticized Rob for dragging her into his drama again. Thierry, another TLC star, expressed disappointment that Sophie was not featured at the tell-all, writing that it was strange she was left out. Sophie later explained she was supposed to attend, but Rob had a major tantrum behind the scenes that made her pull out. Screenshots of her explanation surfaced on Reddit, sparking debate. Some fans were relieved she didn't show up, saying she would only complain about Rob's cheating. Others accused her of being dishonest or too desperate for attention. Rob admitted he hooked up with Sophie again after Hunt for Love, but he insisted he did not want to reconcile. Their relationship had ended in divorce, but their physical connection after filming surprised fans. Rob explained that he briefly got back together with Sophie after leaving the resort, but it didn't last. He seemed unsure why he allowed it to happen, shrugging it off when asked. During his time on Hunt for Love, Rob pursued Jennifer Tarzona and later Ellis, leading to back-to-back controversies. Tarzona chose him, and they left the resort together, but their romance did not last. Rob ended up leaving the show single once again. His return to the tell-all shocked viewers, especially when he revealed how complicated his ties with Sophie remained. Fans wondered whether he was still in her life, given that they were not officially divorced. Rob admitted that legally they were still married, but emotionally they had both moved on. He then revealed Sophie might be seeing Pedro, which fueled even more gossip. This claim tied two 90-Day Fiancé storylines together and left fans questioning Sophie's choices. Meanwhile, Rob confessed that losing Sophie for good was difficult, but he had to accept it. The drama surrounding Rob and Sophie did not stop at relationships. Rob revealed heartbreaking news about a death in his family. Though he rarely spoke publicly about relatives, he admitted he was mourning the loss of a close family member. The revelation shocked fans, who quickly offered condolences online. This tragedy added another layer to Rob's struggles, which already included divorce, failed romances, and financial issues. Despite his personal pain, Rob continued to make headlines. His explosive chemistry with Jennifer Tarzona created tension on Hunt for Love. In the end, Jennifer left him for Cole, leaving Rob single and embarrassed. Since then, he has embraced being on his own while still speaking publicly about Sophie. Fans were shocked when he admitted to multiple hookups with her after the show, even though they both agreed to end things. As their story played out on reality TV and social media, it became clear that their marriage was one of the most toxic in the franchise's history. Though they broke up publicly on the last resort, their divorce has not yet been finalized. Rob has been open about looking for new love, but he has not yet found a partner. Sophie, meanwhile, continues to draw attention from fans, whether for her rumored romance with Pedro or for her sharp responses to Rob's claims. The complicated relationship between Sophie Sierra and Rob War continues to fascinate fans. Their story includes jealousy, cheating allegations, shocking confessions, and repeated hookups even after separation. Rob's inability to cut ties with Sophie, even as he seeks new partners on television, has kept them connected in ways neither can fully escape. Sophie, for her part, has shown she is not afraid to call him out, whether through social media or interviews. For now, their marriage remains legally intact, though both appear ready to move on with their lives separately. Rob is still dealing with the fallout of his reality TV appearances, his failed romances, and personal tragedy. Sophie seems focused on her own life while shutting down rumors and standing up for herself online. Their journey is messy, dramatic, and still unfolding, making them one of the most unforgettable pairs in 90 Day Fiancé history. Tim supported Rob's statement that Sophie was jealous and contacted him many times at night while they were at the resort. Right now, Rob War is going through one of the hardest times in his life. He recently revealed heartbreaking news on Instagram, leaving fans shocked. Rob shared a picture of his dog Rome's paw with the caption, "He was my rock." From just 3 months old to 13 years, Rome had been by his side. Rob explained that holding his dog in his arms until the very end was one of the hardest things he had ever experienced. The loss left him feeling more alone than ever before. He said that if there was a paradise, his beloved pet would surely find him there. Rob also posted an old picture of his cat, showing how much his animals meant to him. His words revealed the deep pain he felt after this loss. For years, he had dreaded the day his dog would pass. Fans already knew how close Rob was to his pets. The grief was overwhelming, and many viewers sympathized, agreeing that losing a pet is like losing a family member. His co-star Julio had also gone through the same kind of pain after losing her cat Simba. Viewers shared that it feels like losing a little person who has been living in your home. They hoped Rob would eventually find peace, but most agreed that no one truly recovers from the loss of a pet. While Rob was mourning, Sophie Sierra was making news for other reasons. She posted a new gym selfie showing off her fit and toned figure, and fans were stunned by her transformation. For several months, Sophie has focused on her health and fitness, going to the gym regularly and taking care of herself. After her split from Rob, she started prioritizing her body and achieved her goal by losing a significant amount of weight. Her new figure has inspired her fans, who admire her dedication and determination. Sophie has also turned her progress into a new career path. She created her own line of waist trainers, which she designs and sells herself. They have become very popular among her followers, showing just how committed she is to her fitness journey. She even said she feels proud of how far she has come. In October 2024, Sophie announced that she had lost 17 pounds. Since then, she has been sharing pictures and videos of her workouts, inspiring even more fans to start their own health journeys. In her most recent post, Sophie filmed herself exercising at the gym, highlighting her slim waist and toned body. Wearing a crop top and one of her waist trainers, she posed for selfies and workout videos while listening to music on her headphones. She showed her strong jawline and athletic figure from multiple angles. Many believe she was also promoting her waist trainer line while showing off her results. Her new look left people amazed, though some speculated it might have been due to cosmetic surgery. Others praised her for her discipline, saying her results were proof of hard work. Her co-star Armani had previously accused her online of using surgery to change her appearance, which sparked debate among fans. But Sophie has ignored the criticism and stayed focused on her personal journey. For her, the most important thing has been to take care of herself and move forward. Sophie and Rob's story has continued to attract attention. On the last resort, their split was revealed after they failed to save their marriage. They tried to work things out, but their differences were too big. Even after the recommitment ceremony, when they officially separated, they couldn't fully let go of each other. During another TLC program, Between the Sheets, Sophie admitted that she had started to develop romantic feelings for Rob again, but soon realized it wasn't going to work. She eventually said it was best to end the marriage for good and start fresh. At one point, Sophie even joked about seeing a 94-year-old sugar daddy, saying it was all in fun. But today, she is all about focusing on herself and her health. Fans admire how much weight she has lost and how determined she is to stay in shape. Her journey has become a symbol of strength after leaving behind a toxic relationship. Sophie has shared that she is very proud of the progress she has made and feels unstoppable. She continues to post updates on her fitness routine, flaunting her new figure and encouraging others to follow her example. Many fans agree that she looks better than ever and admire her perseverance after such a difficult breakup. Meanwhile, Rob is facing his own challenges. His grief over losing his dog, combined with his struggles from his breakup with Sophie, has made this one of the hardest periods in his life. Fans who once criticized him now sympathize with his pain, knowing how devastating it is to lose a beloved pet. They hope he will eventually find peace, even though his journey has been filled with setbacks and controversies. As for Sophie, she has become a symbol of resilience. Her transformation has not only changed her appearance, but also given her a new purpose. She continues to work on her fitness, her business, and her confidence. Even with critics doubting her or spreading rumors, she pushes forward. Her fans are inspired by her strength and determination to live life on her own terms. Rob and Sophie's story is still unfolding, full of heartbreak, transformation, and survival. Rob mourns the loss of his best friend while facing the harsh realities of his past. Sophie thrives by focusing on herself and building a healthier, stronger future. Together, their journeys show how people can break apart yet still remain in the public eye, each representing a different side of what it means to move on after pain. What do you think about these new updates? Sophie is shining with her new figure and career, while Rob struggles with the pain of loss. Their paths couldn't look more different, yet their names remain tied together in the world of 90 Day Fiancé. Let us know your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for more updates.